Welcome to Big Boy Crypto, where we like to empower you to have financial freedom through crypto assets. And if you like the sound of that, why don't you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. My name is DZ. This is Around the Blockchain. We come to you Monday through Friday at 5:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on purpose. And you know the show is we talk about your favorite topic in the world, which is crypto, with some of the best crypto guests in all of the universe. Today is no exception. We're going to get right into it. In that top right corner, you know who we have? We have Steve McGarry, not Steven, Steve McGarry, host of Hack Crypto. You definitely want to check out Hack Crypto. Don't worry, he's not the one draining the liquidity pools. That's not him. He's not hacking the bridges. It's a different kind of Hack Crypto. Also, in that bottom right, we have Crypto Vet. Those in the basement definitely recognize that name. You can catch him in the basement, or you can catch him in the Eververse, riding his BitBoy hoverboard, and we definitely appreciate that, man. All the love. Also, in that bottom left, we have Crypto Wendy O. Oh, man, I saw the DAO talk, Wendy, and her DAO is going to make the world a better place. It's going to be a charitable DAO, not the DAO that you're used to, maybe, you know, with these influencers. Probably said too much already. And in that top left, we have Ben Armstrong, and you're going to get to see him in a week, Bit Squad. 1 week from today, then another day. We're actually flying to Austin, Texas, and you definitely want to come out to that meetup. I'm expecting big things. I'm from Texas, you know, Jay Chain's from Austin, so we're expecting, you know, a lot of Bit Squad love. So definitely come out and, you know, maybe you'll catch us at a barbecue joint or something like that. But this is Around the Blockchain. We got some great topics. We're talking about bullish Bitcoin indicators. We have the first DeFi ETF launch ever. The first DeFi launch is going to be big. And there's a big company. You maybe heard of it. They're kind of big. Google might be going crypto. What's going on with that? We're going to find out. But before we do all that, you know what time it is? I know what time it is. It's time for that black and white plane to fly around the globe. Let's check out what's going on with the crypto markets. Looking a little scary, not going to lie. We have Bitcoin down about 1.5%. We have Ethereum down about 1%. For the week, Ethereum down about 7.5%. It's nothing too crazy. Cardano definitely cooling down. It's been a little bit rough, but they were up so much on the weekly, and just seeing that only up about 3% on the week is just nuts. Polkadot also just, you know, was going nuts yesterday. So a lot of cooling down, a lot of things, you know, kind of over extended their gains relative to the crypto market. Now, Wendy, we have Bitcoin below $42,000. It's at 41.7. Are you scared? I'm a little scared. Should I be scared?
No, you shouldn't be scared. We're literally in a consolidation range between like, what is this? Like 44,000 to like $39,000. You can even raise it up higher to like 46, 45,000. I am not concerned at all. If you look at the chart, you can look at all the different time frames. All you're going to see is this ping pong action. Yes, we do need to decide what direction. No, I'm not going to tell you what direction we're going to go because I have no idea right now. We are seeing a lot of contraction on the Bollinger Bands. We are going to see a move incoming. But this best thing you can do, take a step back and just watch the market. If you're going to be trading, focus on short-term gains right now. Nothing more, nothing crazy.
All right. I want to ask you a follow-up real quick. You said, you know, we could go all the way up to 46. Are you saying you would wait for, you know, what they would consider a breakout would be above 47 then?
I don't necessarily know if it would be 47. I'd probably want to look closer to like 44,000 because we've hit that area quite a few times. So I'd probably look for a break above 44,000 or break below 39,000 at this point. If we go below 39,000, it's going to get a little bit interesting. No, I'm not going to panic sell my Bitcoin. I got most of it under 10K around that area, so I'm good. But I'm just kind of watching for a breakout or a breakdown, and I'm just sitting on my hands for right now.
All right, breakdown. We're going to bust out some cardboard and we will get right into that. But let's keep talking about bullish Bitcoin indicators here. They reached a support level. Last time it hit the support level was around September, and that ended up leading to the, you know, that very nice rally to about $69,000. So we're seeing that same support now. A lot of people are saying there's a short-term descending wedge. Now, Crypto Vet, I know you're great at TA. You make some excellent calls, especially with you know, some low leverage trading. You definitely need to check out his channel. Are we entering, you know, in a descending wedge? What is a descending wedge for those who don't know?
A descending wedge. Oh, great. Again, thanks, DZ, for having me.
Oh,
Appreciate
yeah.
all the shout outs. I've been trading for quite a bit, so I'm trying my best to trade these markets. And right now I'm with Wendy for sure, trying not to trade these markets because it's pretty choppy. The volatility is very, very rough. And I know my Twitch fans absolutely hate me because as soon as BitBoy's channel went off, so did mine, because I'm not really trading right now. I'm just going over like patterns. But a descending wedge is just it's a pattern that kind of forms when there's a little bit too much selling. And we start to form this as we start to see constraints and volatility going down and constricting. And this is usually kind of like a bullish turnaround or a trend reversal. Now, I don't really think I see that in this sense or this set. It just looks choppy. You can kind of create anything you want. You could do a symmetrical triangle. You could do that it's all going down, head and constricting together in a wedge. In the end, just like Wendy said, I want to see 44,000. This coincides with lots of things. This is the 20 daily exponential moving average, which anytime we're above that, and that actual EMA is above the 20 weekly EMA is when we're actually bullish, and we're below all of that. And in just like in September, before that, we had a lot of bullish divergence form that was all this increased sell-off, and I actually think we're in a beautiful buy range. I could be completely wrong, but and if we hop above 44, it's kind of like bull market back in. Everybody's sentiment will change. We'll be going full force. It's just, it changes in 24 hours, one way or the other.
Yeah,
and DeFi is definitely showing that the metaverse is good.
Yeah, they say one green candle, we're all moon boys, one red candle. Oh my God, it's going to 11,000, So it is interesting seeing that volatility and emotion. Now, Steve, Bitcoin is definitely king, but kind of how, Harry brought up DeFi.
Queen.
DeFi's taking attention. We have metaverse taking attention. We have what else? Play to earn. All these things are taking attention from Bitcoin. Now, is this an enemy? Are these sectors an enemy of Bitcoin because it's sucking, some of the capital? Or is this a case of a rising tide raises all ships?
The latter. I think that Bitcoin really pioneered the space, and it really brought in a lot of big brains, I guess you could call them. And now the metaverse and DeFi has really kind of given a different utility to it other than just a store of value. Instead of just it being a Bitcoin wallet, now it can be a wallet that houses access to events, houses art, houses all these different cool utilities. And now with the metaverse, can literally house a key to get into a virtual world. And it's just such a cool way of kind of extrapolating the value that it once was just a bar of gold that you held. And now you can use it in so many different unique ways. So I think it was the entry drug to everything that's gone on over the past decade, but it's really exciting to see like the younger generation. So I gave my nephew Bitcoin like 2 or 3 years ago, and he was texting me saying that at college people were talking about stocks, but everybody said that they were like boring and kind of boomer, and they were talking all about crypto. And it was just such a rewarding uncle moment to be able to have him be the coolest kid in the room with Bitcoin and Ethereum in a wallet. And I think that that's what we're seeing a lot more of. And the play to earn concept, I have heard some kind of edgy topics that I'd love to get Wendy's take on about how the in-game economies are bear market proof, which I think is kind of a dangerous thought at the same way, because if the underlying, Ethereum drops dramatically, it could just create a little bit of a cataclysmic event. But it is a clever thought in that if there's in-game utility going around and around, you're breeding with these tokens, could a bear market take it down? I don't know.
Wendy, I'll give you a chance to speak on that. Will, some of these gaming things, will the bear market affect them? Will it affect more, less, equal?
So a couple things. Number one, I don't think we're going to have a severe bear market like 2017, 2018, 2019, but we're seeing bearish cycles occur in this current bull run. We will have a bear market. It is coming. When? I have no idea. But one of the strategies that I am utilizing and I'm talking about to my audience is creating moon bags. That's when you're in profit with a particular project, you remove your initial, you remove your, some profit. But if you can go ahead and use these moon bags to do play to earn games, farm, stake, whatever it is, you're going to be okay to an extent in the bear market. That's just my personal opinion. It might not work out for everybody, but I think you're going to have a better shot than trying to revenge trade your way with using 100 times leverage, which we don't use that. You don't need any more than 2 to 3 times.
It is not hard to beat the strategy of revenge trading at high leverage. That is not a good strategy. I would never recommend that. Now, last question on Bitcoin. Ben, I want to bring it to you. You can bring up all these indicators. You can bring up all this, this technical thing is the same as this. They compare it to the summer of this year and they compare it to March of 2020. So, oh, this is matching that and it happened then. So, this is going to happen. Does your gut say that we are like really at these oversold and fearful territories, or do we still have a ways to go lower before we hit that level?
That's a good question. Because right now, my gut, the feeling is we're in a bear market. That's the gut. I mean, it's been a slow realization. That's what my gut says. Now, what we're actually seeing, there's still hope. There's still hope that we're not. The feeling definitely feels like a bear market. It feels very similar to 2018 when people were slowly but surely realizing like it wasn't coming back up. But as long as it holds 40K, as long as or 39.5, as long as it holds that, there's certainly still hope. If we get a break out instead of a break down, from this little descending wedge we're in, then, everything can change really quickly. I'm just not sure where the, positivity is coming from. I'm not sure what is going to, move the needle from here, because all of the people who came in 2021, for the most part, not all of them, of course, but, most of the people that have been in crypto came very recently. I think they said 70% of all people in crypto came in 2021. That was a stat I was just looking at. And a lot of those people are already gone. And those who have not sold, they're helping create more of a baseline for the price, at least from a retail market perspective. But overall, it's just this kind of thing where it doesn't feel great right now. And I'm looking around, where is the money going to come from? Where's the positivity? We have the Fed. I mean, look, the Fed could come out and totally reverse what they said and say, well, we're not going to, hike rates. If they do hike rates, it will definitely hurt crypto in the short term. But I think what the picture that we're starting to see is that we are seeing something different than we've ever seen before for Bitcoin. We're seeing something different than we've ever seen before. Either this was, we just didn't get a blow off top and that was the top of the market and we're going down. Or, maybe we're going to see a much longer cycle to where, we have another mini bear market right in the middle of it. And that's where we're at now. So instead of a double top, like we saw in 2013, 2014, maybe we see a triple top this time. Or maybe we're in a place where micro cycles have taken over and we're really just kind of similar to the stock market where we're in cycles that are not as predictable and it's really just based on fundamentals and price action and things like that. So overall, it's nearly impossible at this moment to use history as a backdrop for Bitcoin to determine where we're at. So it's time to start getting a little creative, thinking about, where we may be heading and looking at those different options.
All right. A triple top, that would definitely get me excited. I would, yeah. I mean, that is, probably the best case scenario that we're hoping for right now. But let's get to the lightning round question. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. I've asked this in an informal manner, but I don't know if we've done it on lightning round. What are we going to see first? A $30,000 Bitcoin or a $50,000 Bitcoin? Steve, I'm going to start with you. Just real quick, 30 or 50 first?
Boy, to keep it short, I would say 30.
30. All right. What would you say, man? 30 or 50?
50. 40
All
was
right.
the local bottom. We're changing it up. 50.
All right. Wendy O, 30 or 50?
$39,000.
Okay, we'll hit the 30s before we hit the 50s, but not 30. All right, I like that answer. And Ben, what would you say? 30 or 50?
Quickly now.
I'm going to sadly say 30.
All right. And I want to address the chat. Make sure you hit that like and make sure you leave me some comments. I love reading them. Someone said DZ's going to revenge trade his 4chain link. I would never do that. And someone said, Steve McGarry, if we can look at your room real quick, it must be very quiet in your room. Can you confirm? Is it very quiet in there? Look at your wall. Okay, I can tell. I can tell. You know, there's no echo. There's no echo. All right, let's talk about the second topic here. We got DeFi ETF launching. This is the first one in history. It's not in America. It's not in North America. It is in Brazil, which still has a pretty sizable economy. it's a DeFi that's going to be diversified. It's safe. It's doing all types of coins. It's doing about 12 of them. We have Ethereum, Uniswap, AMP, Curve, Synthetics, Maker, Link. I didn't plan that. Polygon and the Graph. So we have a nice, diversified portfolio with this. Ben, I'm gonna bring it to you first. Brazil is known for loads of corruption, so this is definitely going to be, a very good thing for their system. But is serious money going to flow in, or is this going to be kind of like an El Salvador situation where it's like, the GDP just isn't quite there, or the money's not there? What do you expect from this?
Well, before I get into this question, I'd like to clarify my answer on that lightning round. I don't feel strongly enough one way or the other to make a financial decision based on that. But if I had to choose, I would say 30. But that doesn't mean that we're making decisions. Right now.
Yeah. This is we're pretty close to coin flips here. We're not betting farms on anything here.
Yeah. I could have gone either way. But in terms of this, I've got to say, is everyone aware that Brazil has a Bitcoin ETF? And has had it for, probably 6 months now. And my question would be, what has that done? Has that really moved the Bitcoin price? Or, what is, basically Bitcoin's going up, the ETFs are making money. If it's going down, then they're not. So, in terms of this DeFi, ETF they have coming, I think it's innovative. And it's a good sign. It's a precursor to what we'll probably see. We'll probably see one come out of Canada next. We see Canada front run the United States in markets because they don't have quite as much bureaucracy as we do here with their regulation. So we could see Canada come out with a similar one. But I think you can kind of look in the future and see the merging or the melding of the traditional markets with the crypto markets. I think eventually the crypto markets will swallow them, but that's down the road. So I think really that's what people should be looking at. This is, it's innovative, it's cool, and it may be coming to the United States at some point, but I still think we're probably 2 years away from the spot ETF here just for Bitcoin. So a DeFi ETF, certainly will be much further down the road.
Yeah, that's a great point. They have 5 hashtags. They've launched 5 Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum ETFs. This isn't a new thing. Brazil has had crypto ETFs. Now, Steve, does Brazil's looser attitude towards these ETFs, more and more money, might start trickling to these foreign ETFs? Do you think there's any chance that this will help loosen America's regulations on these things?
That's a good question. And similar to what Ben did, I'll cover my tracks on the previous lightning round question. And that I'm not a trader by any means. I actually have recurring buys on Bitcoin on a regular basis. So I don't really monitor price, short-term price. So I'm always buying, which is pretty unique, I guess. But I always tell people just dollar cost averaging best way. I know others on the call would agree with that. But the Brazil ETF is super exciting, not only because of the ETF, but just their adoption of the tech in general. We take it for granted in the US, I think, in how day-to-day disruptive it really is for a place like Brazil. And a good indicator for anybody that's been in the space for a long time may remember Local Bitcoins. There's this old school site that was peer-to-peer where you can meet people in like a back alleyway, sketchy with sunglasses, and trade over the counter Bitcoin. And Brazil and places in South America were the highest transacted on Local Bitcoins. And I remember back in like 2014 or 15 looking at that and being like, wow, I don't understand why it's so big there. Like what's the infrastructure there? And I realized how impactful these things are. So if it's going to loosen the regulation in the US, that would be great. Do I know if it's going to kind of signal to, the political spectrum in the US, if it's going to change? I don't know, but I'm excited for Brazil. Great job, Brazil. Props to you. Everybody that lives in Brazil that's watching this. I'm very bullish on South America and how it's going to get involved in crypto at large.
Yeah, and I don't mean to point any specific country out, but there are countries with corruption. You do see that trend, whether it's a local level or on the federal level. So it is good. I think it's a great thing for their citizens. I would agree. But generally speaking about ETFs, Wendy, money can flow into an ETF for some of these things, but they don't actually have to hold the custody or the equal amounts depending on how the regulations work. So money may flow in, however, it's not, sucking out, or the actual coins. The coins aren't leaving the ecosystem. How are your feelings on ETFs when they do involve crypto? Are you positive on them? Are you negative on them? What's kind of your take?
So this is the thing. When we're talking about an ETF, that means mass adoption. More people have access to crypto. But realistically, when you think about it, isn't that kind of what we're against? We're against these big institutions. We're against the legalized cartels. We're against the bankers and the suits telling us what we can and can't do with our money. So doesn't that kind of directly contradict what we're doing here, especially when we're utilizing the term DeFi, decentralized finance, but create an ETF out of it? If people want to invest in it, that's fine, but I don't feel like you need to invest in an ETF to have access to crypto. You can simply invest on your own. There's a lot of great projects out there where there are a lot of DeFi protocols where they're starting to do bundles and different baskets of things that actually automatically invest for you, or you invest in a particular pool and it encompasses like multiple different DeFi projects. So do we really need an ETF for DeFi, or are we responsible enough to do it on our own? So I guess you have to kind of consider, because essentially it's somebody else kind of managing your money for you in a way. Do we want somebody else to manage our stuff, or do we want to have self-custody?
Yeah, a lot of times though that, to be fair, it is tax implication reasons. So, if they pull out from a 401k, boom, you're getting hit with a tax, whereas, you might be able to slide around.
But we're talking about Brazil here. We're not talking about
yeah, Brazil. I personally don't know, what their 401k equivalent rules would be. I'm just a, generally
Just a guy.
speaking though. I'm just a guy on the internet. I'm just an idiot on the internet. All right, last question on this topic. Now, Vet, I'm gonna put you down. I'm gonna pigeonhole you. You must choose only one. They have all types of ETFs. They have a Bitcoin ETF. They have an Ethereum ETF. Because it's you, I'm gonna say it. They have a hypothetical XRP ETF. Vet loves some XRP, and then they have DeFi ETF. Of those four, you can't touch it for, let's say, 3 years. Which, what do you put your chips in? Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, DeFi?
Personally, to be exactly like Wendy was saying, I would choose the DeFi one. Whether it be the XRP, Banker's Coin, any of those type of arguments, it's more being my own bank, right? I only use the bank whenever I'm paying for houses and transferring money like that, because me and my wife resell houses. So that's the only time I use banks. Otherwise, banks could kiss my ass. I mean, I'm tired of their stupid $35 fucking fees, and screw them. I'm tired. Back in the day, I was tired of them. So banks can absolutely be done with it. So I really agree that I would have to pick the DeFi one. And, kind of going back to the same question, whether the ETF is a good thing or not, it is for the adoption thing. Exactly. It brings more people in. But I would kind of look at it from actually the opposite perspective. What about all the people that live in these countries? Now that the ETF is stuff there, it's not the access, it's more the exposure and the potential that they might look into it themselves more if they haven't already. And then I know Steve will probably play on this too with play to earn games. I'm big on the metaverse. Play to earn, I'm big on NFTs and the whole progression of how this space is going to go. And, today, earlier, OpenSea was down because of the full send NFT launch. And, Cardano has had issues because of their NFT launches. There's so much money that's still actually here and can come. This is kind of why on my other one, I said 50,000. I think exactly this whole platform is completely different. We're not going to see the bull cycles like we did before. We did see it this way. We did see it again. Now it's different. All of our other things, including my old analysis, invalidated. So we have to come up with new things. So overall, I think the ETF is good, but it doesn't matter as far as what's going to change the price, because it takes a lot more than that to keep the money flowing in.
Yeah, and the money, we are seeing things we haven't seen before, especially with the money flowing in. And they say, be careful when you hear people say this time it's different, but we're looking at the price action. We're looking at the charts. We're comparing it to previous cycles. It is different. So, it's anyone's, guess what this next 6 months, 12 months is going to look like. But let's talk about, this little company, little indie startup out of the West Coast you may have heard of, Google going crypto. This is so huge. I just want to preface this with, I remember, 2017, if there was a whisper of a Google URL being created, you could just lie, make up some screenshot, and then put it out on Reddit. Everyone would lose their mind. And now we actually have very tangible steps with Google stepping into crypto, and, it's crickets. We're not seeing anything. I just want to preface with that. But yeah, Google hired the PayPal veteran Arnold Goldberg to helm its payments division. They want to have a broader strategy. The Google president of commerce stated, "We will incorporate a wider range of financial services, including crypto." That is such a huge statement to hear from their president of commerce. So they hired this former PayPal executive. They're going to run the payment division. Crypto's going to be part of their payment strategy. Now, let's talk about one of these FANG stocks. Steve here, McGarry, when do you see Amazon following suit?
Good question. When Amazon coin? Yeah, I think that there's a lot of speculation around Google and the metaverse. I will say there's a lot of activity taking place at Google. A couple of friends of mine, when I lived out in Silicon Valley, a couple of friends still work there on the search team and things like that, and they're always asking questions about how things are going on. And keep in mind, or for people that don't know, Web 1 was like static pages on the internet, which is where I believe NFTs are right now. Web 2 was where we could start publishing content like where you're consuming this right now. And that got vacuumed up and owned by like 5-10 companies, one of those being Google. So now in Web 3, where we all have ownership and, you know, it's very kumbaya and fun. When Google comes into that, they are very much going to try to figure out how to make as much as they can out of it and really monopolize a lot of the space. So I think it's both good and bad. I'm leaning more towards the bad side. If this is streaming on YouTube, JK, YouTube, don't hurt us, or don't hurt Ben, or don't hurt everybody. But they are going to make a big move in not only payments in general, but also in the metaverse. So I think we're going to see a lot of movement from Google over the next 6 to 12 months. I don't know what all that's going to look like, but I don't know if everybody on here, Ben, did you get a chance to see the demo of Walmart NFTs? They came out with their metaverse experience where you could shop and
Not
buy.
seen it.
Yeah, it's
definitely
quite
check that out.
comical. It takes a very long time to like take some off a shelf and like put it in. It's you're
pretty
quicker
rough.
driving. You're probably like just going to be quicker just driving there, even if it's 20 minutes away. But yeah, look, Ben, I do want to ask you something. So a lot of people, they see this tech adoption, this Silicon Valley adoption. Like Steve said, about 10 companies own so much of this space. A lot of people they're heralding this as this is going to be so bullish for crypto. Once this money moves in. Others are seeing it, as an invasion. They're urging caution instead. Saying they're gonna really be the antithesis of what crypto is about. When referring to these tech companies entering in the crypto world, where do you land on this issue? Are you more cautious or are you more optimistic?
Oh, I'm definitely more cautious about it. I mean, I think it gets right back to what Wendy was talking about with the ETFs. Guys, it's time to wake up here. We've lost this initial battle here. The traditional money, the traditional companies, the powers that be, they're already winning. They're already going to win. This dream of decentralization, it is further away than people think it is. It's not like all of a sudden one day these blockchains are going to come out, Web3 is going to come out, and all of a sudden, everything's decentralized and, we're going to have new companies that become the new Google. No, they're not giving up without a fight. And they are going to use their immense power and lobbying pressure and money and, to make sure that they win here and to make sure that they become viable in the world of crypto. But the thing about crypto is when it's opened up, there is a level of decentralization that comes intrinsically with blockchain, with an open permissionless blockchain that, they're not used to. And it's almost like by pushing the legitimacy of crypto and kind of like taking over the payments on the front end, they're leaving the back door wide open. Because, once people realize like, oh, wait, we don't have to have Google to do payments for us. We can literally just send money, via whatever decentralized options exist, whether it's, Costa, I know Carl was working on Costa. It would be pretty good in the future, when their app is out for sending Bitcoin. Like we need to live in a world where everything is pretty much instant and it's easy to send, and we don't have to necessarily, worry about, using an option from PayPal or Google to send money. Like that's the whole thing. We don't need them with crypto, but they're coming in because they don't want, the world of decentralization to run away from them. They enjoy their power. They want their power. They will remain powerful for a season. But you know, I think the real battle of crypto is 10 to 20 years down the road. That's when we're really going to start seeing, you know, like I said earlier on the stream today, like we're going to be using CBDCs in 5 years everywhere in the world, pretty much. We're going to be using CBDCs. That's what you're going to be buying your coffee with. It's going to be your local digital dollar for now. Okay. But down the road, that's where we have the opportunity, you know, to get into some of these other options and see these as failures. Right now, they're going to force us to use this stuff. And so, you know, I think the traditional banking world and the tech world, like they certainly go hand in hand. But this is a long war here. This is not about, you know, if they come into the space, it's bad for crypto. No, it's actually good. I think it's good on the short term for price and legitimacy, and it's going to legitimize the very things about crypto that, you know, hopefully we're going to use to, you know, Trojan horse them.
Yeah, and you know, Trojan horse is a good metaphor because you know they're trying to sneak in. It's kind of like you said, they're going to try to vacuum out all the power. I do want to reference chat. They think Steve's rail is a chair rail in the back, and that they really love your passion when you're talking about the banks. But you know, so yeah, they are going to try to, you know, Trojan horse their way into the crypto space. Some are saying this is a blessing. You know, some are definitely, you know, very, you know, scared. This is a reason for me to get out of crypto totally. Wendy O, for the person who, you know, says, I really hate that this large tech behemoth is, you know, entering in this space. This is not what I was into. They just abandon, you know, they abandon Bitcoin, abandon Ethereum. You know, they try to move to the newer, hotter, fresher thing. What would you say to that person that, you know, because company XYZ is entering in a specific ecosystem, it's a reason for them to get out? Would you agree with that take? Would you try to talk them out of it? Would you say, you know, ultimately it's a good thing that they have some?
That's the thing about decentralization. You don't get to dictate, you don't get to control who participates in the economy. So when we're talking about decentralization, I can participate, Ben can participate, Steve can, Vet can, DZ can, whoever can. A person that hates you, a nasty, mean person that says terrible things about you can participate, and you can participate too. That's called decentralization, okay? Another thing is, this is our fault. This is 100% all our fault that the legalized cartels, these big, massive corporations, these people are doing very terrible things, have already gotten into crypto and are kind of manipulating things because you guys weren't out there voting, you weren't out there lobbying, you guys weren't out there advocating or educating. Maybe some of you were, but most people weren't. So at the end of the day, this is our fault. This is our fault as a society. We need to do better. And guess what? It's starting to be almost too late, but at the same time, we still have a voice. We can still vote people in office. We can still stand up and say, hey, we don't want this. But that's going to take effort. It's going to take time. And unless you're willing to put the work in, to be out there boots on the ground, guess what? They've already won. But at the same time, there are still ways that we can still participate in a decentralized economy. It's just going to be a lot harder, and these people are going to continue to make it a lot harder. So if you're not going to be active, then don't say on anything and don't speak on it.
God, great point. And yeah, they are going to make it a lot harder. It is harder for me to focus on the show with this chat. Y'all are being so ruthless today. I don't know if y'all showing off for Crypto Vet. DZ's transitions are smoother than his bald spot. Nice compliment. You know, the compliment insult. I'm not bald. Listen, all right, last question here. You know, let's just say, you know, like Ben said, I agree with Ben. You know, 5 years from now, we're going to see CBDCs everywhere, all over the world. You know, we are going to see more and more companies adopt Bitcoin. I have a question on the, you know, relatively shorter term, you know, like the next year or two. Crypto Vet, when, you know, say we enter in this bearish winter, you know, however long, and we have cheap Bitcoin. Do you think Amazons and the Googles, do you think they're going to buy the dip in a year or two if there's some cheap Bitcoin lying on the ground?
I honestly don't think so. I think there's going to be certain industries where they're still just never going to come into crypto. They're just going to be the laggers, right? They may eventually always innovate and come into it. You know, one example was Steam. They, you know, have really great VR. You know, if you're a PC gamer, you've used Steam. There's tons and tons of use case there, but they absolutely, just as a company, do not want to integrate anything cryptocurrency or NFTs, and they just blatantly say that they're against it. And it kind of just bugs me because I like the platform, but you know, somebody is going to take this place. And then, you know, going back to the whole Google thing and, you know, they're trying to get their piece of the pie. You know, kind of going back to like why I'm so passionate about the banks is like, I remember back in college, if I was like $4 short or something and something came out, the bank would literally take out a $30 charge and I only had $35, but they wouldn't pay the 3 cents or whatever I owed it. And it's almost as bad as getting raped by Ethereum gas fees now. So it's kind of like the DeFi way of banking. But just overall, everybody's going to try to get their piece of the pie. They're going to try to find their money, and that is going to bring people in. And it's going to bring exposure, but there's always going to be a fine line between what's fully decentralized. Are we too much going towards the corporations having too much? And we're always going to be in this battle. I think Wendy said it right. We lost this already back then because we didn't start, but we can change now. We can start now. And I've already done that myself here in Arlington, and I'm from Texas. I'll be down at the meetup, and I'll try to be the ones in LA and other places. But I actually meet with officials who are trying to figure out how to bring crypto into the city of Arlington and the city of Dallas. So we're actually trying to see what can they do to copy things like Miami and, all these other countries that are switching and changing. That's the biggest thing I think that's awesome. Screw the ETF. Most people, how many people here bought an ETF? How many people own ETFs? Half the people here didn't even know what it stood for. I didn't know what it stood for until a couple of years ago, right? So, nobody's buying that. They're buying the Bitcoin. They're buying the crypto. All these countries that were third world countries before that now accept a lot of crypto and innovate now, they're going to be first world countries here soon. And we're going to reshift. And this is the whole market shift, the wealth shifting to everybody. So, I'm super bullish for the future of crypto. No matter a winter, there's always a way to make money. If you watch me, Crypto Face, any of the other traders, you can short, you can do that. Most of the time, we don't like talking about it because it hurts. We hate shorting the market. It feels like you're stealing money when it's going down from other people, but the Ponzonomics don't lie. So,
all right, you got a couple points since you felt the pain, and that's Arlington, not Arlen. That's Hank Hill. Everybody I see in the chat. But all right, well, that is all we got time for. Vet, you stole it from Ben. He had that passionate tirade about them big corporations, but then you're equally as. Oh God, she's gonna steal it from you. Maybe go ahead, Wendy.
You guys, we're 5 likes away from 1,000 likes. Do better. I see a lot of Ada. I see a lot of CryptoVet +1. If you guys really want CryptoVet to speak on it, smash that like button. Get us over 1,000 so people can hear what he has to say. Please. Yes, DC, have your show back.
And if you're watching at home, by then it's a rerun. Maybe get us to 9,000. Let's really power up. All right, Vet, it is on you. Go ahead. Leave us with some parting thoughts. Looking forward to seeing you in Austin next week.
Perfect. Yeah, hey, thanks everybody. Thanks Ben, Wendy, Steve, everybody for having me on. DZ, I always love coming on here. It's always a blast. You guys' insight is awesome. I've met Ben and DZ, most people in person soon, Wendy and Steve, so I can't wait. For those who didn't know who I am, I'm Dr. Harry Valinsky. I've been a trader for a long time. If you want to follow any of my current projects, follow me on Twitter at CryptoVet_, I think. Yeah, at CryptoVet_. And my current project is Dash League, which is a play-to-earn NFT game, MMORPG, so...
Yeah, all right. The doctor's in the building. And that's all we got time for. And until next time, Bit Squad, DZ out.